Am I going to have to live under a bridge now?
I don't know. What makes you ask that question all of a sudden?
I don't know. I think Mrs. Greyman's irritated with me about some things. So,
well, on that note, welcome everyone to Trademark's Trainwreck, a show featured on Celestia Radio, all fandom all the time. With me here tonight is Random Greymane.
hello.
And somewhere down the line, I think we're going to get Sherlock. He said he'd be here, but we're not 100% sure on that.
Well, we're still chasing him down. The train hasn't caught him yet.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
So, how are we this week, Greymane?
I cleaned my kitchen floor.
Nice.
That's about what I've managed to do this week.
You did tell me a little bit about that before we started recording, and you said that it was absolutely vile. It
was bad. Mrs. Greymane and I have been chronic illness people for a number of years now.
Uh-huh.
And so doing certain things has been difficult, especially because I have foot issues. So I'm not supposed to be on my feet. I'm not supposed to be stressing my feet, yada, 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 yada. And so, what happens, things slide, and then all of a sudden you look down at the floor and go, is that wood? Is that wood? No, wait.
Now explain that to the people who don't get it. What do you mean, is that wood?
We actually have a hardwood floor in our kitchen. We don't have a hardwood floor anywhere else in the house. We have a hardwood floor in the kitchen, and it's like, if you don't clean it, it gets dirty, and then it's like, that doesn't look like wood anymore. So you have to deal with it, and but no, it's all nice and happy right now. So that's good.
Nice. I need to remember to do something for my work, because sometimes I'm in the dish pit at work, and we've been having some issues with the drain there. Not the drain in the sink, the drain in the floor for all the excess water.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that particular drain is a little bit fucking bipolar for some reason, because it'll drain, but then it'll back up. And then you take the cover of the drain off, and this brown sludge just floats to the surface like fucking oil in water. And then after a little bit, the water will just go back down.
Yeah. Very likely some idiot poured some grease down it. Okay.
That would make sense.
And what you need to do is you need to go and get
snake the drain.
Well, no, you don't snake the drain. You can do this on a chemical basis, and you can use what's called, of all things, it's called green gobblers.
Really?
Yes, and you can find it in a liquid form, or they have these gel pack kind of things. But you get it in a liquid form, and you literally pour it down the drain, and it's an enzymatic cleaner, meaning it breaks down certain things without having to, scrub them off. So it's really good for cleaning out grease out of drains. And it's not that expensive. I think it was $12 for a gallon when I bought it just recently.
Oh, you learned something new.
Yep.
I was going to bring in something that looks like a goddamn what looks like someone tried to merge a Tommy gun with a pistol.
Yeah.
Which is a snake.
Yes,
a drain snake.
And if you look on the back of them, some of them have little spots where you can put where you can plug a drill into them. Where you can use a drill, to snake the
rather than
thing.
Hand crank the thing down.
Right, rather than hand crank the thing. Some of those you got to be careful with. If you're hand cranking it, it's okay. All right,
but if you're drilling it, you just can just break the thing.
Right. Well, it isn't just that. You could break the pipe too, depending on whether or not they used cheap ass pipe in the area.
Yeah.
So it's I don't use one of those. What I use mostly when I get a clog is I use what I jokingly call a thumper. Um, it's this thing that it looks like, well, here, let me find you a picture of it. It looks like a cross between a like a water pistol with a plunger end. Um,
Hmm.
hold on for a second. It's a pressurized thing.
Well,
Press-
while you look for it, ladies and gentlemen, joining us here now is Sherlock.
Hey, yo. Sorry. I worked out after I got off work, and I thought I had enough time to finish and shower before hopping on.
Oh, there
I
it is.
also wanted to shave.
Oh, it's fine. We're just talking about drain pipes and how they act weird if you pour grease down them.
Yeah, because you're not supposed to.
Yeah, you're not supposed to.
Yeah,
Grayman's
this
just
is
looking
what
for
I-
something.
This is what I'm talking about.
All right.
Ah, yes, that thing.
Yes.
Jesus Christ! What the fuck?
I have one of those. When you have people that don't understand how plumbing works anymore because they've either forgotten how plumbing works or they don't understand that the object that they're putting in the toilet is not flushable.
Or they've been misled and lied to by the by the sanitation companies out there that say, oh yeah, no, and in order to increase our sales, we're going to make this new product that's totally flushable. It can go down the toilet, even though it creates things that trade despises the word to hear, fatbergs.
Oh god, those are disgusting. Fatbergs are absolutely disgusting. Anyway,
Flushable wipes are not flushable. They do not degrade. They are terrible for the environment. I berate my mom all the time for deciding to use them.
Well, anywho, moving on from pipes, we do have a couple other things to talk about. I've got one, and Shirley's got one.
Oh yeah, I've got one.
I'll talk about mine real quick, and this one's gonna bring fucking Vietnam flashbacks because McDonald's is bringing something back again.
The McRib?
No, not the McRib. That's just a given. No,
Shamrock Shakes?
Well, that's already passed. That was
that's
earlier this
every
month.
year.
Yeah, that was every year. No, it's the thing that doesn't come back every year, and that is the fucking Szechuan sauce.
I thought they already brought it back.
They're doing it again.
Oh,
Let's see.
God.
It'll be by the time of this recording, it'll already be out again because it'll start on March 31st. However, it'll be available exclusively through the McDonald's app for free with Chicken McNugget purchases, or it can be purchased a la carte in quantities up to 5.
Or you can just go online to the leaked recipe and make it your fucking self.
Or
That too.
you could just not do it. Because the last time this happened back in 2017, because of fucking Rick and Morty, shit hit the fan really fucking hard.
That is not Rick and Morty's fault. That is totally McDonald's fault.
Yeah, that's totally McDonald's fault and Rabbit fans.
I'm just
And
saying.
rabid fans.
I'm just saying. It is
Toxic fandoms, and I don't like Rick and Morty any more than the next guy, okay? I think it was an overrated show. I thought it was amusing at first, but then I was like, okay, this is getting uncomfortable.
Yeah, it overstayed its welcome.
It overstayed its welcome. But McDonald's fucked themselves over with that promotion, and then the toxic fans, which have just imbued themselves into every single facet of our lives as fanboys, made it worse.
I'm just saying, it's not wholly Rick and Morty's fault, but they were the ones who gave McDonald's the kindling. McDonald's did throw in the match, but Rick and Morty set up the kindling.
I mean, you can't say that. I mean, you can't say that it's the forest's fault for lighting on fire because a human did something irresponsible.
Fair enough, I guess. But anyway, that's just the tip of the iceberg of things that are happening this week. Sherlock has something that we need to discuss, even though I'm sure everyone and their fucking grandmother has discussed it at the time of this recording.
Oh god!
But I want to.
My Twitter feed is full.
I want to know y'all's opinion. So, something happened last weekend. The Oscars. I didn't even know. I had no clue that they aired last weekend. I was like, wait, the Oscars happened? Oh, okay.
Neither did I.
And the only reason I know is because of a certain thing that happened. A certain shit-ass comedian got what he deserved.
Yeah.
So, for those of you who are living under a rock and are only getting your information from this show, I pity you. One. And two,
pick up a different news source.
Yeah, come on.
Two, Will Smith walked up on stage during Chris Rock's opening of the Oscars and slapped the shit out of him for insulting his wife. Now, this has sparked a lot of controversy over the internet and has sparked a whole bunch of new awesome memes.
Yeah.
The public seems almost 100% split on this. And before I give my opinion, guys, I want to hear you.
You're in luck, because me and Gray were actually talking about this pre-recording. And I think we've come to the consensus that while we don't condone what happened, we do approve.
Yeah, Rock crossed the line by picking on a disability.
Yes,
those of the people that are saying this is not something that should have happened are people that have never had experience not being defended about their disability. Okay, because it happens all the time. Okay, it's the reason I have to limp to a motorized cart, even though I don't have a limp. It's the reason I have to, keep an eye on certain things, okay, because people just will not defend you if you have a disability, okay? And here comes somebody who stood up, okay, for his wife who had a disability and slapped the shit out of somebody who crossed the line. And I am all okay with that. Totally okay with that.
I'm of the opinion... Oh, go ahead, Trade. I'm sorry.
Oh, I was just going to say, for clarification on what Will Smith's wife disability is, it's called, help me out again, Gray, alopecia?
Alopecia. It's not a disability. It's a disease. It's a genetic disorder that causes an excessive amount of testosterone to be loosed into your system. And one of the side effects of that, like with male pattern baldness, which some scientists think might be a mild form of alopecia, is your hair falls out. But with the variant that Will's wife has, it falls out in clumps.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So she elects to shave her head. And she has not been quiet about this. She is said on many times on her Twitter feed, because of my condition, I'm shaving my head. I won't be wearing wigs. I won't be wearing weaves. I am just going to come out and say, I have alopecia and here's my bald ass head. Yeah, so everyone knows.
Yeah, she's proud of it. And there's Chris Rock going, I see that Mrs. Smith is ready for G.I. Jane cosplay.
No,
or some shit like that.
All right, here's what it is. So first of all, Chris Rock comes in. I don't care. Okay, if there's anyone here listening who thinks he's a funny comedian, your opinion's wrong. Chris
you
Rock
can send letters too.
Chris Rock has not been funny since next Friday. Next Friday, maybe.
I mean, the last film he did wasn't even a comedy. It was a fucking spin-off from the Saw franchise.
Yeah. So the man is perpetually stuck in the 90s. That includes his level of awareness. And that's also evident with the reference to the G.I. Jane movie. That movie's 30 years old. Who the fuck's going to remember that movie? And it was mediocre at best. So what he starts out with is a bit of matrimonial humor. I forgot the names of the actors or the actress and the director, but they're both up for an Oscar. And it's kind of like he was making a joke of like, no matter who wins, he loses. And I'm like, that's really low hanging fruit, Chris. That's pretty poor. And it kind of dawned on me the second he said that, and I was like, why did they hire this guy to host the Oscars? Then he says
such a bad reputation now that nobody wants to touch it.
Nobody wants to touch it. Yeah.
Nope.
And then he says to Will Smith's wife, "It's like, Jaden, love you. Can't wait for G.I. Jane 2." And that's when he started getting booed.
Oh.
And everyone looks at him and is like, dude, what the fuck? And he's like, oh, come on, that was fine. And then Will's just like, you know what, fine. I'm going to get up there and tell him what to do.
All right, if that was fine, then this will be fine. Poof.
Now, here's my opinion on the matter. Did he deserve it? Yes. Was it the right place to do it? No.
No, of course not.
Because now we have a slew of people with their opinions and comedians who are now saying that they're afraid to get up on stage and heckle. I'm like, guys, there's a difference between heckling and insulting.
Mm-hmm.
And Chris Rock isn't doing his job as a comedian by picking somebody with a disease and insulting their disease. What really got my goat was the number, and I'm sorry to slide slightly into the political spectrum here, guys. What really got my goat was a bunch of YouTube channels I watched that are very pro-progressive. They're progressive, pro-leftist, anti.
The idea.
Yeah, and anti-Trump. And years ago, when he first started his run, and they started like bashing him for how he made fun of that reporter with a mental handicap.
Cerebral palsy. He had
cerebral palsy. And I'm like, you guys are willing to bash Trump for that, but Chris gets a pass?
Mm.
Yeah. Sorry, not okay, guys. You can't say just because Will made the wrong decision that Chris didn't have it coming. I'm sorry to say this, like there's this whole thing of like turn the left cheek, that we're above that kind of thing. No, sometimes some fool needs to get his ass slapped.
Yeah.
It was okay to do this sort of thing, even really mean-spirited jokes back in the day, but that was only because back in the day we used to do like celebrity roasting, like on Comedy Central, the roast of Larry the Cable Guy, the roast of Pamela Anderson, all that stuff. And
we still do roast. We still do roasting.
That's not the
same thing.
It's not the same thing, obviously.
A roaster has willingly gone up and said, "Okay, guys, roast me. I'm totally ready for this. I will accept any insult you give."
Yeah, exactly.
And here's a great actual example for that, Trade, that I can tell you of how times change. One of the, I forgot her name off the top of my head. Gray might know who I'm talking about. One of the greatest insult comics that has ever been, who was a mainstay roaster for Comedy Central. She would get up there and she would rip loose on the people being roasted, and her jokes were just vicious. She has since retired from doing that and now makes self-help affirmation books because she's realized, I can't do this anymore. Times have changed.
Yeah, I don't remember her name either. There's several things that I want to cover here. One, okay, I think that this had to be in this time and place. Okay, I don't think this would have had the effect it had it been done privately. Okay, because his wife was insulted on a world stage.
That's very true.
So, taking this off the stage doesn't have the same effect, and Chris Rock would not have learned anything, by that. All right.
I don't know if he's going to learn anything.
I don't know
if his shows are selling out.
Right. Okay. But the other thing here is this isn't the first time we've had this shit at the Oscars. Okay. This isn't the first time. In the 70s, Marlon Brando refused an Oscar for The Godfather. Okay. And he sent a Native American, her last name is Littlefeather. I cannot remember her full name.
I hope that's an actual fact and not a joke.
No, her name is something or other Littlefeather, and I can't remember the name because it was the 70s, and I'm sorry.
Wow.
And she went up there, and Brando Brando gave her the thing about he was refusing the Oscar because of the treatment of Native Americans. Okay. And if you do the research, John Wayne was being held back, behind the stage from beating the shit out of her.
Jesus.
Because of what she said. All right. And how Native Americans were treated. And then Clint Eastwood comes up and makes a joke about, about apologizing to all the cowboys that were killed in the films. And this sort of shit has happened before, all right? And it's never been right. Okay, it never has been. And now somebody went and stood up and said, this isn't right, fuck you, slap. And that's how we got to this position. So it's I'm okay with what happened and where it happened, but there's also a piece of me that's going, we should not be distracted by this.
No,
we shouldn't. It's just, again, like the main concern of a lot of comedians that I've seen like comment on this is like, well, now we're kind of worried that we're going to get a heckler come up and think it's okay because Will did it.
No, yeah, that's there's a difference between heckling and fucking completely insulting somebody, and that's
there is. But remember, people are very stupid these days.
Yeah, they honestly are. Again, I agree with everything that the two of you said, and I'm not gonna lie though. There's a little voice in the back of my head that's going, maybe this was planned. Because, like, as you say, Sherlock, you didn't even know that the Oscars were happening until you heard the news of what Will Smith did.
And they slap her around the world.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I mean, I thought it was staged at first too. I was like, was this staged?
Yeah.
And I'm like,
if it was staged, it was pretty good.
It was really good because you saw Will's reaction after that because he shouted loud enough to be heard in the audience without a mic, "Keep my wife's name out of your fucking mouth."
Yeah, and there was other things like if you roll the film back and you go frame by frame, Rock's face distorts. Okay, after being hit, his face just absolutely bends. Okay, somebody
because this wasn't a fucking bitch slap. This was a fucking boom.
Yeah.
No, that is a bitch slap. So,
but
here's the thing.
Now there is one other thing I want to address before this. Before I'll let you go here, Shirley, in a second. Sure. One of the things that people have been saying is, well, he was laughing at the joke before, and I'm like, yeah, okay, but that's sometimes that's a reactionary thing. Okay, you laugh automatically, and then your brain catches up, and you go.
And it happened with the entire audience. The entire audience kept chuckling, and then they realized what he said, and then they're like, "Boo!" They started booing him, and he's like, "Oh, come on, that was fine." And then Will got up on stage.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
So. And here's the thing. Another thing that a lot of people have been commenting on is like, I can't believe Will Smith just slapped him. It's like, didn't he train like to play Muhammad Ali in that movie? In the movie, I'm like, yeah, you're lucky he only slapped him. Will knows how to fight.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't here's the thing is, all right, I really hate to do this because this is going to be me playing armchair quarterback, but in like a culture that has the type of mentality that says sometimes a dumbass deserves to get slapped. If you slap somebody for being stupid, that is a warning. If you punch them, that's an invitation. That's basically like...
Yeah, that's a let's go.
It's a little different.
Yeah,
so between Will and Chris, that was like a just slap. It's like you ran your mouth, and this is the consequence. If Will had punched him, that would have been a different story.
I keep telling people, I'm like, this is an exact example of instant karma, okay? Because he made the joke, and the universe went, no, we're not having that shit, and Will got up and slapped the shit out of him, and this is the you are not. You're not free from your investment in your words. You aren't. Okay.
Yeah. The Constitution guarantees you a right of freedom of speech, but it doesn't mean there aren't consequences for that speech. Exactly. The only thing you're free from is consequences by the U.S. government. That's it.
Correct. Mm-hmm.
By the way, another one of the reasons that I found out it was legit and that more people are on Will's side is that after the fact, they showed video of Terry Crews and Samuel L. Jackson basically going up to Will and saying, I'd have slapped that bitch too.
Yeah, pretty much.
I think we'll close off on this particular discussion by saying we're behind Will Smith, and also I find it very funny of one particular meme of just making art out of the frame of Will punching Chris and just putting their DreamWorks iterations on.
also, Jim Carrey can fuck off. Sorry.
Just all the pictures of the fish from fucking Shark Tales just slapping the shit out of the zebra from Madagascar. I love it.
We've got people who are inserting the punch from Independence Day, where he's hitting the alien back in the ship.
Welcome to Earth. Anyway.
Anyway, we will be right back.
Yeah, we'll be right back with our usual setup here, folks. Got the softcore, the hardcore, all on Trademark's Trainwreck, a show featured on Celestia Radio, all fandom all the time, except when it's a slap heard round the world.
My name is Dumas.
All right, Mr. Dumbass. Welcome back to Trademark's Trainwreck, a show featured on Celestia Radio, all fandom, all the time. It is time to start the softcore material. And we've just finished talking about fucking Szechuan sauce, so let's talk about chicken tenders. And how they are not a police matter.
Tendies. They're called tendies, sir.
Oh, God. Okay.
This is an incident that happened on March 24th. There we go. Ohio woman called 911 to lodge KFC beef. March 24th. Since some citizens remain confused about the proper use of the 911 system, here is a friendly reminder. Do not call the police emergency line if you have encountered a chicken difficulty at the KFC.
Just going to a KFC in general is a chicken difficulty.
On that particular Tuesday evening, Lisa Castro called 911 to report being, quote, upset because she only got 4 pieces of chicken instead of 8. And that the manager of a KFC in suburban Cleveland, Ohio, quote, won't give her the rest of the chicken.
Wow.
This, it's not, you won't get nearly as bad a response, okay? But this is on the same level of please come and check my drugs.
Yeah.
Okay? This is about the level of stupidity.
Just about.
You might as well call the police about your Szechuan sauce, okay? It's just that stupid. I mean, come on.
So,
what do you think that's for? What do you think that service is for?
Well, obviously, it's to help me when I'm in need, and I need more chicken tenders.
All right, I do have, real quick, before we get into this, I have one question for the news outlets out there. Why do you bother publishing this shit?
Because it's funny.
No, it's annoying. I'm just, for fuck's sake, we literally have, I bet you anything, that there are hundreds of thousands of 911 calls like this around the country every goddamn day. We don't need to know about them.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. It's just some stand out more than others. Like, I remember back in the day when a news outlet got a video interview of a guy who called the police because they made his Subway sandwich wrong. I still remember that quote. The police told me I was under arrest, and I asked what for. And they said, for calling 911. And I said, you gots to be kidding me. Let's see here.
What was that line from Men in Black? What was that line? A person is smart. People are dumb, stupid, panicky, and you know it.
Truer words. The 62-year-old Castro, who lives about 2 miles from the KFC in Euclid, asked for an officer to be dispatched to the restaurant, saying she would be waiting in a Dodge SUV. Upon arriving at the KFC, a Euclid Police Department officer explained to Castro that her chicken beef was, quote, not a police matter, according to a call report that classified the incident as a civil matter. No charges were filed in connection with the 911 call. Quote, while we are here to serve the public, an incorrect drive-through order is not a police matter, said Chief Scott Meyer.
Now, sorry.
There weren't even any charges filed, but all right, let's report this anyway. God damn it, news outlets.
I have to wonder whether or not it would have been a police matter if they had given her no chicken. If they had just refused to fill her order and taken her money. Okay. that might have been a police matter. Okay,
Maybe.
because technically that's fraud. Okay.
Even though businesses have the right to say, no, fuck off. We don't have the right. We don't need to serve you.
Yeah. But they don't usually take the money and say, fuck off. They give the money back and say, they give the money back and say, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, pretty much.
But still.
Did she think that she was going to get an entire rotisserie chicken?
Oh, she thought she was going to get 8 tenders, apparently. And she only got 4.
The police were going to force them to give her extra tenders. That's what was in her mind.
Because I'm entitled to those 4 extra tenders. I paid legal tender for that chicken.
Okay, so this is just getting into a more systemic problem that I still keep wanting to complain about, and I still think is an existential threat to society, yet everyone is just passing it off as a joke. Karens are a threat to society, people.
They are.
They are. They really are, yeah.
That movie about a interracial couple moving into a white neighborhood with a Karen there,
that was a documentary.
People are saying that's a joke and it's kind of like an offensive movie to white women. I'm like, no, that's a warning.
That happens all the time. That happens all the time.
It's either an interracial couple or an actual black couple. I can't remember.
Either way, it's still fucking awful because Karens are going to be the death of us.
Well, there is a current thing going on where a homeowners association spurred on by a Karen is trying to kick out a gay couple.
Yeah.
Okay, a gay and a trans couple. Okay, and I don't remember the rest of the story. I would have to look it up. Okay, but it came across my Twitter feed and I checked into it. I'm like, yeah, that's fucked up. Okay. And, Sherlock's right. Okay. They're going to fucking ruin this, everything that we've got because they can't come to terms with the fact that they're not the be all end all. Okay.
I mean, the New York dog walking Karen in Central Park tried to have a man killed because she knew that black men are more likely to die by cop.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
And nothing happened to her besides, being publicly shamed and she lost her job, but no criminal charges were filed.
I pray to God that if aliens exist and they try to make contact with us, the first person they talk to is not a Karen. Because if they make contact with a Karen and she says what she is destined to say to them, we're fucked. We're fucking dead. Put your head between your legs and kiss your ass goodbye because Karen just fucked us over.
Either that or
Go ahead.
Either that or they'll look at him and go, oh, these poor humans, we need to help them.
Yeah.
I would hope it'd be the latter, but at this point there's a 16-mile wide asteroid heading close to Earth. I'm hoping something nudges it in a certain direction.
Well, moving on to our next article. And this article does kind of have a similar vibe to the chicken tender one because it's got one of those clickbait sort of titles to it, but I looked at this article before we started recording, and there's a deeper issue with this particular woman. So,
isn't there always?
Might be a case of another Karen, but I'll let you two be the judge of that.
I will judge.
Woman shot in the face, wait for it, with water pistol.
The fuck? Who's the news outlet?
It's a smoking gun.
Find better articles.
Oh my god.
Find better articles. This is a non-news story, smoking gun.
Why the hell? Who cares?
Now, here's the thing. I knew this was going to be your reaction the minute I read this title. This is why, again, I looked through the article to see what was happening. And lo and behold, something was happening.
There better be, piss in that water gun for me to actually care.
Oh, no, there's not. But let's take a look. March 14th, a Florida woman, because of course, was arrested the Saturday afternoon, the week of March 14th, for allegedly shooting a neighbor in the face with a water pistol. According to police, Renee Baldock, 40, was inside her residence at the King of the Road mobile home park in St. Petersburg when Nicole Hosmer, 44, walked past the property. Baldock, cops allege, exited her home and stood on the porch where she, quote, took a water gun and squirted the victim in the face. Hosmer, quote, never went onto the defendant's property, nor did she make any aggressive statements. Baldock allegedly squirted Hosmer in the face because she, quote, was upset the victim was walking on her street. Hosmer lives only a few lots away from Baldock at the King of the Road development. Now, I love this extra line as if this was a completely necessary statement to make. Hosmer was not injured in the shooting. Fucking no duh. Baldock was arrested for misdemeanor battery, which, yeah, even I'm like, what the hell on that? She was booked into the county jail from which she was released that Saturday after posting $500 bond. Now, all of that, yeah, pretty fucking stupid, but here's the thing that gets me personally here at the end. Apparently these two have history.
Oh, of course they do.
Last April, Baldock, the woman with the water pistol. Keep that in mind, the woman with the water pistol. She sought a domestic injunction, aka a restraining order, against Hosmer, the victim, alleging that she was the victim of repeat violence. Her petition, however, was later dismissed without the issuance of an injunction.
Okay, so that means that they looked at it and said, there's nothing here.
There's nothing.
There's nothing here, you're wasting the court's time, go away.
So what that tells me is that Baldock is completely fucking mental.
Probably.
No perceived slight whatsoever, so the next best thing, in Baldock's opinion, rather than just leave it alone, is to just annoy the shit out of everybody.
I mean, sounds about right.
I don't know.
I have a problem with the fact that the one lady was arrested. Okay?
Yeah.
I mean, she should have gotten charged for like being a public nuisance.
Yeah. Misdemeanor battery, me personally, yeah. Even I'm just like, that doesn't work.
But this is Florida.
This is one of those things where the police should have de-escalated the situation.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is Florida, Gray.
Well,
the police don't understand the meaning of that word.
Yeah.
No, you're correct. They don't. All right, but that's still my point, though. Is it shouldn't have been. This should have never ever ended up with somebody being arrested. Okay, for a water pistol. This is just idiotic. Okay, absolutely idiotic.
Cop should have shown up, written her a ticket for being a public nuisance. Made her go to magistrate court, and whatever.
Yep.
And if she says, "Hey, I've got a problem with this person," they should go to the courthouse and file an injunction against harassment.
And if they ignore it, well then, sucks to be you, I guess. Invest in noise canceling headphones, or blinds for your windows, or just don't make contact with the bloody woman.
Or stop thinking of it as your street, bitch.
Yeah. It's a fucking mobile home development. Hell, the clue's in the fucking name, mobile home. You can take your home and move away.
Well, mobile home is...
Yeah, it's not quite that easy.
No. Like, the why they use the term mobile home for those prefab homes, I don't really get, because they're not really that mobile.
Oh, really? They're grounded? They just look like mobile homes? Or they're built out of mobile homes?
You can move them. The issue is that they are very heavy, and they require a very heavy-duty truck to move them. Okay,
it's not like a trailer that you can just hitch up to a truck. Like, these things are, once they're set in place, they level them, hook them up to some piping and electrical lines and computer lines, and they're kind of there until you want to put a large amount of effort into moving them.
Right. Oh. Yeah, they're pretty much a prefab home that just happens to have wheels. I'm okay. No, that's how I've always thought of them.
All right, well that explains that. But yeah, I do agree with you boys. This is a non-event that shouldn't have escalated this far, and I'm disappointed in my state as per usual.
Nothing burger.
A nothing burger with nothing sauce and no fries.
Damn it, now I want a burger.
Same. Okay, moving on to our last article for the softcore, and don't worry, this one actually has a little bit of action to it. A high-speed pursuit that ends with, well, man led deputies on 120-mile-per-hour chase, brought down by his pants trying to escape. We do have video, and I will present the article to my co-hosts. So for those who are unable to see, well, actually, let me actually read the bloody article. This happened, well, look at that, today, or at least it was reported today. March 30th, 2022, from Forsyth County, Georgia. An accused drug dealer is in custody following a wild chase that ended by deputies pulling him down by his pants. The Forsyth County Sheriff's Office released the dash camera video Wednesday. Deputies said Dimitri Clay, 37, of Atlanta, led them on a chase around 2 a.m. Friday morning inside his car. Inside his car. Well done, Trademark, for proper pronunciation. They found a variety of drugs, a handgun, and stolen IDs and credit cards. According to the arrest report, deputies came upon a car with a strong marijuana smell on Georgia 400 around 2 a.m. on March 25th. The deputy ran the tag and found it had no valid insurance. When the deputy tried to pull the car over, they said Clay took off on Georgia 400 northbound. The video shows Clay lead deputies on a chase for several minutes until he exited at Peachtree Parkway and turned back on Georgia 400 in the southbound lanes.
He tried to climb over the concrete barricade, which is he's got some good height. That's some good height. That's almost like 10 feet. That's 10 feet tall.
Yeah, and then, as he tried to climb over the concrete median, the man's pants were falling down as deputies grabbed them and took him to the ground. Like, they literally just, yanked him down. You see a bit of ass, and then, boom, he goes down on the ground. Clay is charged.
I have heard of far worse ways to...
Yeah, there's
I've heard of far worse things that have happened in foot chases than somebody losing his pants.
Mm-hmm. Far worse.
Somebody lost a penis once.
Oof.
You could have kept that to yourself.
Let's not talk about that one, please.
It's the Trainwreck, guys. Come on.
I mean, fair, but even so. Right, so Clay is charged with possession and intent to distribute cocaine, MDMA, heroin, meth, THC, and marijuana. Clay also faces charges of possession of a firearm and reckless driving. Deputies added additional charges of forgery in second degree and identity fraud for the stolen IDs and credit cards. Go on.
Nope. Because if I do it, you're gonna yell at me.
Well, now that you've said it, unless Future Trade edits this out, we're all ears.
Okay. First of all, you're making money running drugs. Okay, you are. You're making money running drugs unless you've got such tiny margins that you're not making anything. Okay, which can happen, but that's not usually what happens.
Not usually the case. Surprisingly, right. A good number of drug dealers are very business savvy.
Mm-hmm.
Correct. So why are all these people riding around with the drugs laying open in their vehicle? Why does this happen? Okay.
Because while they're business savvy, they're not that smart.
No.
Correct. Okay.
They know how to run a business, but they never factor in, what if I get caught? I'll never get caught. I'm smart.
Unless it's a canine unit stopping you, okay? All right. The worst they're going to smell is some weed, okay? So and it irritates me because people in the past actually used to do better at this as criminals. Okay, you had pockets hidden in the dash. Mm-hmm. You had stuff under the dash. You had boxes built into the bottom frame of the vehicle, and now you've just got these people that just throw it on the seat, and I'm like, well, if you're gonna be a criminal, put some effort into it. You're making enough money to have somebody weld a box that can go under your floor mat.
Well, unfortunately, because of the nature of drug busts and even marijuana, in spite of some states making it completely legal, the minute that cop smells marijuana, unfortunately, they have that hair trigger nature to just go, all right, what else you got in there?
That is a good point. However, I would argue that if you wanted to be a good drug dealer, one, you wouldn't use your product, and two, you wouldn't, smell like it.
Correct. Mm-hmm. And having potpourri in your car, that would actually be a really, really good thing.
Yeah.
So, if you're a drug dealer and you carry your drugs in your car and you smoke dope in your car, put some potpourri in your car.
Mm-hmm.
So, canines, though, can smell through anything.
Yeah, if they got a dog, you're fucked.
Oh yeah, right. If you've got a canine unit, then you're screwed anyway. Okay.
Because I was doing a trial where these two poor saps from Mexico were hired to run some crystal up the center of our state because my town, because I-40 crosses it and I-17 comes up from the border.
You get all the fun.
we get all of it. They had put it in a specialized housing in the trunk, behind the carpeting, above the wheel well, near the exhaust, inside special Ziplocs, and wrapped in certain types of plastic that was supposed to keep scent out. They went through a lot of trouble to keep dogs from finding this stuff, but the dogs still found it.
Yeah.
Right. The one that I've seen work the best, okay, is coffee. Okay? If you put the stuff in coffee, the dogs, for the most part, can only smell the coffee. Okay?
And they have an issue with it. Yeah, but people have been doing that for
right, exactly. That's like an old school smuggling trick.
It was a thing that was on Mythbusters, because I remember they did an entire episode dedicated to the classic break out of jail. Now what do you do when the bloodhound's on you? Do you go through the water? Do you cover yourself in dirt? What do you do?
Yep. Yeah,
and actually, I think that was like the way the guys were smuggling stuff in the first Beverly Hills Cop movie.
Yep. They had things in coffee packs, and it works to a certain degree. It's just you can only smuggle a certain amount, and everybody wants that big score, so they try and smuggle like 400 pounds of weed, which.
They just come in with like a
pounds of weed. It's going to be like that's idiotic.
They just come in with a fucking truck, and on the bed it's just like this big hunk of crystalline meth just covered in tarp.
Some of the DEA border stuff, okay, that I've seen has been where they literally tear apart an entire vehicle because the people hit it in like the body panels and stuff. And, there is nothing that you're going to be able to do to hide 400 pounds of weed. Yeah, okay. No. There just isn't, you just can't do it. But even if you do have 400 pounds of weed hidden in your vehicle, they're going to find it. Okay. It's like, I don't care if you've welded it into the nooks and crannies of the vehicle. Okay, they're still going to find it.
I think one of the funniest, and probably the most innovative ways I've ever seen anybody smuggle weed in media had to be in the Cheech and Chong movie, where they made a van out of weed.
Oh, yeah.
Wait, what?
There you go.
Huh?
Up in smoke. Yes.
Up in smoke. So they basically, this Mexican cartel got, they need to bring all these drugs, all this weed up into America, and Cheech and Chong somehow stumbled their way into, being the drivers. But they basically got a van whose body panels were basically they made fiberglass body panels for this van, but instead of
Instead of
fiberglass,
they use weed.
It was weed. And what's really funny is that they put the body panels too close to the exhaust and it started to melt and start smoking. And soon everybody they were driving behind got high.
Man, pot movies are the weirdest.
Oh, you have no idea. I mean, I
have some idea. I remember y'all made me watch like one pot movie. I forget what it was.
Half-Baked.
Yeah. Just some losers in an apartment.
Fun fact, I still have my dad's Cheech and Chong Big Bamboo album, which has this ginormous rolling paper in it. It's literally like a 12-inch by 12-inch rolling paper. That's the inside of it, and it's just inside the jacket of the album. And almost nobody has that paper anymore, by the way. So that album is actually fairly valuable now.
That's pretty valuable
because everybody
sell that thing and get a collector, be like, holy shit, he's got the rolling paper,
right? Because everybody smoked it.
Yeah, everybody used it. Everybody knew what Cheech and Chong were about.
Yep.
I mean, there was that one movie I even kind of cringed at where let's see, Chong went to this one random person's house, and then like this crazy white girl came in and then snorted some Drano.
Oh.
Ow.
Yeah, intentionally. She's like, hey, that was great. How you doing? Yeah. I was like, okay, Chong, get out of there. You're a pothead. You're not into these guys.
Yeah, no. Well, I think on that note, I think we'll go on our final musical interlude for the evening. You're listening to Trademark's Trainwreck, a show featured on Celestia Radio, except when it's the most valuable rolling paper in the world.
Or 400 pounds of weeds.
Then I got high. Then I got high.
Hardcore! Yes, indeed. Welcome back to Trademark's Trainwreck, a show featured on Celestia Radio, all fandom all the time. And we are indeed starting out with the hardcore, and we are starting off with the bang. Oh, man. We've heard of thieves stealing all kinds of things, but this right here, this takes the cake.
Is it Lex Luthor?
No. It is a man who tried to steal SEAL Team 6 item.
What?
For those who don't recall, SEAL Team 6 was the
I know
Navy SEAL team who paid a visit to Osama bin Laden.
That, in all honesty, the only reason that got published and we know it was SEAL Team 6 is because it was a political necessity for Obama to say we got him.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, it would have been completely covert and there would have been no mention of SEAL Team 6.
Yeah, no. But now we have a Navy SEAL museum where the SEAL Team 6 stuff is readily available for everybody to see, and for one person in particular to try and steal. So
try and steal from the Navy SEAL Museum. Who do you think that's run by? I'm just gonna, just curious.
Well, obviously, it's run by Colonel Sanders.
Yeah.
March 22nd.
No more dating sims, please.
God, I forgot that existed. Thank you. Okay. March 22nd. A contractor working at the Navy SEAL Museum was arrested the day prior for allegedly trying to steal a ballistic vest that was worn by a member of Navy SEAL Team 6. Cops allege that Kendall Rust, 30, was working inside the museum in, where else? Fort Pierce, Florida.
Nah.
When an employee noticed that he was, quote, acting suspiciously.
Really?
It gets better. When Russ later packed up his tools and began to leave, the female employee told cops she, quote, noticed a Navy SEAL ballistic artifact was missing from the room Rust was in. Gee, you didn't think they'd connect the dots on that one?
I don't think we'll be able to find who did this.
Gee, Holmes, this one seems to be a true mystery. I don't think that even you will be able to solve this one.
Use the pepper stuff. Oh, sorry.
Apprised of the item's disappearance, a museum official confronted Rust, who reportedly copped to the swiping of the vest, quote, because he wanted to take a picture of it.
No.
Doesn't work that way.
You know you can take a picture of it without taking it out of the case. But yeah, they were...
I kind of want to, rag on the museum security for allowing them to actually access the fucking case. It's not locked?
I don't know. I mean, granted, this guy has a toolbox, so if it's locked with something as simple as, say, a padlock, maybe he had fucking bolt cutters. I don't know. I don't even know what kind of contractor this guy is, thanks to the fucking smoking gun who published this particular version of the article. So let's see if I can actually find out what kind of contractor Kendall Rust is before I continue. Let's take a fucking gander. Let's see here. Let's see if this article tells me. Working as a contractor. Let's see. Oh, hey, this actually mentions who that female employee was. That was Hilda H. McSween. She was in charge of watching the room where Russ was working.
If you have a woman whose first name is Hilda and last name McSween, she is German and Scottish, do not fuck with that woman.
Let's see here. This particular article doesn't tell me what kind of contractor he was, unfortunately, but does tell me that when cops found the ballistic vest in his toolbox, let's see, Russ began to cry when police read him his Miranda rights as he was being arrested. Because, what he committed was a felony.
It's a theft.
Yeah, a $50,000 felony, because, that's what that vest is worth.
Well, that's what the government pays for it.
The government pays for it. It's used. Mm-hmm. It's used, so I'm like...
Let's see, Russ was arrested.
That was probably the insurance price on that vest.
Yeah, and on top of that, he would only have to pay that if, the goods couldn't be recovered.
So let's see, he was arrested on felony larceny and booked into the county jail where he's being held in lieu of $10,000 bond. Let's see. I'm looking at another article to see what kind of contractor was he? What the fuck was he doing? Was he repairing a fucking air conditioning system? What? I don't know. Maybe they don't want to say what kind of contractor he was to spare the company he was working with some grief or whatever.
That's possible. I'm with Sherlock. Why wasn't the case locked? Okay,
that is a fair point. Again, I'd like to know whether or not this case was locked beyond a simple padlock. So,
but even with a padlock, if you chunk a padlock, that makes noise.
Yeah,
so
and he was under surveillance. So actually, that brings up a good point. How did he sneak it away from Hilda McSween for that long? You'd think that if the room was under surveillance by somebody, they would keep a constant eye on it. Not to blame Hilda or anything. I'm not blaming her at all. Good on her for catching it when she did.
She caught him anyway, so yeah.
But
a good question. It really is, because you would think that walking up there and just taking the object,
it's not simple. Because
it's
it's a ballistic vest. It's not light. I will tell you that for a fact. Ballistic vests are not light, so it's not as simple as just going
heavy. They're also not overtly heavy. Granted, if this was a SEALs Team 6 one, it might have been the one with the ceramic plates in them, the dragon scale. Wait, do they use those anymore?
Maybe.
I don't know. But he couldn't possibly fold it either. I mean, those are not foldable.
Those don't fold.
No, it's not as simple as doing your laundry. So yes, a lot of questions here about how this even happened to begin with.
Yeah, one thing though, I don't question, I know for a fact that vest probably stank.
Oh yeah, it probably did.
Bulletproof vests, like
BO, dirt, iron, and blood.
Yeah, ballistic vests, you can't really clean them. Like my at the courthouse, we have a bunch of like older ones that were donated to us, and they hang in the lower half of the of our hanger set, because we have, we wear the sports jackets, the sports coats to look all professional. Yeah. And like I'm the only one that wears a mask to work because of course I am. And everyone started complaining about the smell, and I was like, what smell? I pull my mask off and I start sniffing around. I was like, oh. So we bought some Febreze and we Febreze the vest. I'm like, dude, why do we have these? Like, just in case you guys want them. I'm like, no one wants these. I'm thinking in my head, I'm thinking in my head to my boss. I'm like, you and I are the only ones here who are fit in any fashion, who don't have a gut hanging over our freaking stomachs. I'm including the younger guys. They're all really big guys. None of these vests are going to fit them. Not trying to fat shame, but if you're going to be in security, you don't have a gut.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, donut people are not supposed to be in security positions anymore. That age has long since passed.
No, it's still here because people are kind of desperate. They're like, oh, no one applied except this gravy seal guy.
Oh, no one applied because we didn't pay them enough money. No one applied because we wanted them to work 57 hours.
No one applied because everyone who's in shape doesn't want to treat people like shit.
Yes, exactly.
Well, great, man. You mentioned donuts.
Yes, that was I was being stereotypical.
Yes, but it's actually a good segue for our next article, considering what this particular guy stole. This guy.
Do we have another donut thief? Because we've had that before.
It's a donut of a sort, and you'll see what I mean later on. Because we have another sex toy thief. Sex toy thief in Ohio who stole $336.93 worth of adult merchandise. This happened on March 29th.
Yeah, as conservative as Ohio is, I'm surprised that adult stores are still actually allowed to exist.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. An Ohio man. Actually, before I talk about this story, I just want to point out his fucking hairstyle and his mugshot. Let me just give this to you boys. Look at him.
Oh my god.
Oh my.
Yeah, look at that hair. Look at that hair. What do you fucking call that? That's like
an emo hawk? An emo hawk. I call that an emo hawk.
Yeah, it's like a half
helmet. The half helmet is what I call it. A
half helmet with a slight little bit of comb over. I love the first mugshot that is just like, yeah, what? And then the second mugshot that kind of makes it look like some guy over to the side was just like, here, boy. and so he just turned like, what? Anyway, let's get to the actual.
So what's this walking hairstyle choice disaster's name?
This is what is his fucking name? Here we go. Joshua Millsap.
That's a name.
Yeah, Joshua Millsap.
I can't say that doesn't fit his picture.
Yeah. So, cops responded that Saturday morning to a panic alarm from a Cirilla's store in Elyria? L-E-L-E-L-Y-R-I-A. Elyria.
Wow, you got me on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a
unique
fucking Ohio.
One. It's fucking weird. We're gonna use all the vowels except for O. Anyway, that's a city 30 miles west of Cleveland. Cirilla's is a 60-store chain with outlets across the Midwest. A store employee identified the shoplifting suspect as a white male, quote, carrying a large knife on his hip. Upon arriving at the store, officers spotted Joshua Millsap, 28, exiting Cirilla's and entering the passenger side of a Ford sedan parked outside. When confronted by police, Millsap reportedly admitted stealing merchandise from the store. After cops recovered some of the sex toys from the vicinity of the car's passenger seat, a Cirilla's clerk advised that other items were still missing. Millsap then reportedly copped to cutting a slit in his jacket and concealing other sex toys inside the garment. So hey, he's taking a page from you, Grayman.
I gotta give him credit. I mean, that's not a bad idea.
Yeah, not a bad idea. I mean, he's amateurish, but
yeah, also
got the right idea.
Also credit to just say, yeah, I'm fucking caught. Here you go.
Yes, we will give him credit on that one too, because that's the whole just fess up.
Mm-hmm. An officer, quote, checked the jacket and located the additional items, end quote, according to an Elyria, fucking, I'm just gonna call it E or L, for the E Police Department report, which included the list, as I will read to you right now. We have the Shapeshifter Anal for $99.99. We have the Vibrating Ring for $67.99. I'm just going to forgo the 99 cents from here on out. We have the 3-pack cock ring for about $8. We have the Universal Pump Sleeve for $11.
That's not mine.
Gentlemen, I want you to gird your loins for this next one. We have the Urethral Sound Trainer for $43.
Oh.
Ain't no shaming.
No shaming, but to the untrained. Moving on. Inflatable G vibrator for about $100, and finally, for the low price of $7, you have the Stay Hard Donut Rings. There's our segue.
I know exactly what this guy's mindset was because what he stole was a wide variety of things.
Mm-hmm.
He was going to resell them at a higher cost.
Of course. There was no way he was going to do all that at once.
Unless he had a really kinky girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
Or boyfriend, who knows?
Yeah, no shame.
Nope, no shame.
Millsap was cited for misdemeanor theft, since he was the suspect of an outstanding warrant in another jurisdiction. Police turned Millsap over to the Ohio State Patrol.
There you go.
And there he's now got a fugitive warrant, but first he's got to get that taken care of in that county, then they can hand him over to whatever jurisdiction wants him.
Mm-hmm.
Fugitive warrants are a pain in the ass because here's an interesting thing. They're technically classified as a civil case, so you do not get appointed an attorney in a fugitive warrant.
Nice.
So yeah, just another fucking sex toy bandit.
My question here is, where are these people reselling these things?
Black market.
Okay.
Or Amazon.
eBay.
Or eBay.
There could be something in the dark web for him, like a whole, Silk Road of sex toys.
Not gonna lie, that's the most vanilla thing you could do on the dark web.
Yeah, probably.
Yes. Well, one of the things it could be the misnomer, and Gray will agree with me here. The dark web isn't just used for like ordering drugs online or getting pictures of stuff that you really should not have or other things of that nature. It's actually a way for countries that have extremely oppressive, tyrannical, totalitarian governments to be able to access free information on.
Correct.
That's actually, it's used mostly for that, more for that. It just has a reputation here because our media likes to paint it out as being something bad.
Yeah.
Because, 10% of it is bad, but the other 90% is used for actual, getting people information and freedom from around the world. But no, 10% is bad, so the media is going to paint it as bad.
I've heard all those horror stories, man. Just all.
There could, if there is a black market in the dark web for sex toys, it could be like people in really oppressed nations, with heavily Christian theocracies, wanting to suppress people's, sexuality. So,
I can see that. I can see that.
Yeah, maybe.
Poland is leaning that way.
Poland has been weird for decades, and I don't understand it. Because some of the Polish people I've met, they're like, "Oh, my country's okay," and they won't talk or act like they've been oppressed. Okay, but their country, every time you look at stuff that their country does, it's like, what are you guys thinking? What are you actually doing? Okay, and and like Shirley said, is like they're leaning, to be the oppressive Christian thing, going on, and it's like, how did this even happen? When the people that I've talked to, keep saying, well, that's not really a thing. So I don't know. No idea.
Speaking of, I don't know.
Here we go.
It's our last article for the night, everybody. We're ending off with a bang in Florida because, of course, we are.
Always Florida.
It's always Florida. Welcome to Starbucks, where you can have coffee and a show. Man, 27, arrested after allegedly masturbating in front of horrified Starbucks diners.
Ew.
Okay.
Yeah. I love how they say allegedly. We have video and photos. Thankfully, the photos I will be putting in the YouTube version are censored.
I don't need to see this.
By law, they have to, because a court case is going to go through and he hasn't been proven guilty yet. So they can't say he did this. They can say allegedly he did this.
Right. It's the same reason when you're doing articles on like giant corporations that are going through, lawsuit bullshit and so forth, you have to say allegedly, because otherwise those fucking companies will sue the ass off of you.
Yeah. This happened March 14th, 2022. Speaking of alleged, a self-proclaimed homeless male model. What a fucking descriptor.
That's okay. All right, now I'm confused.
Homeless male model who, might I point out, is wearing a very clean white shirt for a homeless man.
You'd actually be very surprised.
Yeah, you'd be very surprised. It's
fair enough. He has been arrested for allegedly masturbating in front of people in a busy Starbucks. Blake Rain, 27, was allegedly seen by several witnesses pleasuring himself at Starbucks on Collins Avenue and 29th Street in Miami Beach, in the U.S. state of Florida, at about 9:30 a.m. on a Friday. Jesus,
on October the 24th, if you want to know.
Yes.
9 a.m.
9:30 a.m., yeah.
Okay.
He's getting started early.
Yeah.
Witness Alyssa De Maria said she was in the shop when she used her phone to record him. "What are you fucking doing? Get the fuck out! That's disgusting!" she yelled at him in video of the man, obtained by the local news. Mr. Rain, wearing a white shirt, underpants, and white socks, clearly unbothered, did the gross deed in front of an American flag in the coffee shop while looking around at patrons.
All right, this is mental health issues. This isn't drugs. This is mental health issues.
Probably I just love that mental image, though. That is America as of 2022. Just a whole...
No, that's the GQP as far as 2022.
Just a homeless man jacketed in front of the American flag, holding a Starbucks cup. America. Miss DeMaria said she continued for about 10 minutes before police finally arrived. Just collecting evidence, wink wonk. At that point, Mr. Rain took off running. Mr. Rain allegedly refused to comply with police officers, and they shot him with a dart-firing stun gun. That's when he got to yanking again, tish. This time pulling the darts out of his body and running off again.
Good luck with that. Those darts...
Somebody fucked up because he should have been down.
Yeah, probably.
To be honest, here's the thing. No matter what anyone says with those tasers, because we're issued them too, we're issued the best tasers on the market. If somebody is like on enough drugs, they will overpower it.
Mm-hmm. Regardless, they had to shoot him 8 more times before he was finally subdued. They used...
Okay, that's either some severe neurological thing or drugs. Okay.
Probably drugs. I'm just putting that out there. Probably drugs. Police used closed fist distraction blows and kicked him in the lower back area as well, according to the arrest report. Now, this is the one bit of the news where I have to go, One of the officers was injured after he fell during the foot chase. That's it. Nothing more.
Okay.
Nothing more on that particular bit. Just, gee,
well,
thanks.
Here's the thing that irritates me. You know for a fact that because the cop tripped, he's going to fucking like say, oh, they're going to add injury, like assaulting police officer to his charge.
Right.
Because the cop tripped and twisted his ankle, now they're like, okay, assaulting an officer, that's an extra charge.
They haven't added it as of yet. As it stands right now, now that Mr. Rain's been taken to Mount Sinai Medical Center, he's been charged with lewd and lascivious behavior, disorderly conduct in an establishment, and resisting an officer without violence. His bond has been set to $700.
Now that one surprises me because usually the without violence thing is almost never used. Okay,
especially in Florida,
and especially in our current police environment. Okay,
maybe it's because it's Miami and he's white.
Maybe. Well, there you go. That would do it. So white guy, we can't beat the shit out of him.
It's probably because he was. His records apparently show that he was at the Turner Guilford Night Correctional Center on the Sunday prior. Let's see, the Turner...
Oh, what's he doing out?
No idea. For those who don't know, let's see here. Minimum security adult. Gee, thanks for that description. Minimum security adult as opposed to a full security adult. Tell me what the actual building is. It's obviously it's a mental health facility.
Mental health or country club prison, one of the two.
Yeah, one of the two. Secure facility that houses inmates. Inmates may be awaiting for trial or sentencing. Let's actually take a look at this, because I need to get my information.
Yeah, because I'm confused now.
Yeah, so am I. Tell me what it is. Here we go. This comes courtesy of countyoffice.org. The Turner Guilford Night Correctional Center, located in Miami, Florida, is a secure facility that houses inmates. The inmates may be awaiting trial or sentencing, or they may be serving a sentence after being convicted of a crime. Jails and prisons maintain records on inmates, including arrest records, sentencing records, court documents, and other criminal records. Turner Guilford Correctional Center makes these records available to the public. So it's just a place where they hold inmates.
It's a country club. Oh.
Sorry, excuse you?
It's what they used to call white collar prisons.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, they used to jokingly call them country clubs because, people would get in there and they would still
minimum
have
security. They have a lot of freedoms. Like the only thing that they couldn't do is technically leave the area, but even then, you could. Like before his assassination, Epstein was at a minimum security prison back in the day, and he was allowed to leave on the weekends and go home and conduct business.
Yeah, I know. That irritates me. That's always irritated me.
That shit is bothersome.
Because, I mean, you're in fucking jail. You should not be conducting business.
Oh, no, you shouldn't. It was even worse back in the old days. I've listened to some true crime podcasts where I forget when
Luciano used to conduct business in jail all the time. Whenever he was in jail, he would conduct he would run his mobs from inside the jail. So
let's see. Here you go. The Stopwatch Gang. Yeah, the Stopwatch Gang. So one of their members would I forget if he was already in jail or whatever, but basically they would have lunch at like a local restaurant, and then that particular gang member would just sneak away. He pulled that shit twice.
Yep.
And it's just like, how the fuck? Granted, that was back in the day when police were a little bit more loosey-goosey with how they dealt with, inmates and criminals and all that. Anyway.
To a certain degree.
To a certain degree.
To a certain degree.
Yeah, it was back in the day where it's just like, oh, you whippersnapper, you ruffian, you hooligan.
Well, I mean, depending on the criminal, there was also like, I remember, if it hadn't been for him like messing with people's money, Al Capone would never have seen the inside of a jail cell.
Nope, not at all. He fucked up because the taxman caught him. So,
and it wasn't just the taxman; he was fucking up with the mob's money too.
Right?
Ooh, yeah.
And you don't do that
because it was a anonymous wink tip that got him caught by the IRS and subsequently the FBI. But like, what anonymous tip was that?
Of course, by that time he had massive syphilis, so he wasn't thinking straight.
He wasn't long for this world anyway.
God, you just reminded me of the movie that was based on that, but kind of did some interesting things with how they quote unquote caught Al Capone.
Was that The Untouchables you're thinking about?
The Untouchables?
Yeah. Probably. It was the one where that ended with Capone basically falling off a building.
What? No, that wasn't Capone, was it?
Unless I'm mistaken, I recall that Capone's name was being thrown about there in that particular movie.
Yeah, because it was about the story of Elliot Ness and him busting up and him doing the whole prohibition thing.
Right.
Yeah, I just remember that there was an ending where I think it was Ness and Capone. I could be completely fucking wrong, and feel free to call me out on that. I remember that it was just them running around a hotel, and then I think Capone falling off the building. I don't fucking know. I could be wrong. I could be remembering a different movie.
Wrong movie.
Yeah, I could be remembering a completely different movie.
Somebody does fall off a building, but it's not Capone.
Yeah. It's probably not Capone. But either way.
Don Connery playing an Irish cop.
Oh God!
Oh yeah!
You think they would have learned after that Disney movie made in the '60s?
Yeah. Oh God. Anyway, I think that'll do for this episode of the Trainwreck. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening to this episode of Trademark's Trainwreck, a show featured on Celestia Radio, all fandom all the time. With me here tonight has been Random Greymane.
You know what? I gave too much away this evening, so you criminals that are recording this show, have at it. So just be professional criminals, damn it.
And Sherlock.
As a man studying law and working in the courthouse, I will not agree to anything. But will also not tell you what to do.
Yes, that's my job.
As always, folks, our banner art was created by Court Awesome, and our theme song was created by Marivex. You can find their social media, as well as our social media, and the links to all the articles in the description of the YouTube version of this show, where I humbly request that you like, comment, subscribe, all that shit.
I'm the man of coffee.
Yeah.
Make you drink coffee.
Yeah. Well, folks, my name is Trademark, and good night.
Good night, Gracie.